What's going on, guys? In today's video, we're going to talk about the most common issues in powder coating, what they are, and how to fix them. As always, make sure to check out ctsainc.com for all your electron powder coating needs, as well as all your spare parts and everything. With that being said, let's just go into it. So, powder coating will look amazing when it's done right, but if you've ever finished a job only to see orange peel, pinholes, poor adhesion, or weird cloudy patches, you're not alone. These are some of the most common powder coating defects, and today I'm going to walk you through why they happen, how to prevent them, and how you can actually save yourself tons of frustration and money in rework. First up, let's go ahead and talk about surface prep because, as we all know, this is 99% of the problem. If the part isn't absolutely clean, think oil, rust, mill scale, or even microscopic dust, the powder isn't going to adhere or look right. And you'll get peeling or chipping, you'll get debris in your paint. So you have to make sure your substrate is blasted or cleaned and degreased properly. And when all of that is done, you need to make sure that part is bone dry. We like to put our parts in the dry off oven, let them completely dry before bringing them out and letting them cool down. Next up, grounding and the electrostatic charge. A bad ground is the sneaky culprit behind uneven coverage. It also gives you poor wraparound, and this is obviously the powder reaching the backside of the part and or getting into those Faraday areas. It can also give you a weak film build. And if the gun isn't calibrated correctly with your air settings and your voltage settings, and the distance to part is off, you may get a grainy or a thin coat, or you may actually build up too much powder. And all of these things can cause that coating to fail faster. The next thing we want to look at is your cure schedule. This is not the time and temperature on the box. You don't put the part in the oven for 20 minutes if it says 400 at 20 minutes. So you need to make sure that you read the manufacturer's specs, and that part should reach 400 degrees before you start that 20-minute timer. I've seen so many people tell me that they can cure wheels in about 35 minutes. That is nearly impossible. So make sure you follow that. Make sure you take temperatures. Another issue is if you have older parts, aluminum parts, outgassing can cause pinholes. Over curing can actually cause discoloration and loss of gloss, and it can create a brittle finish. So you need to be careful of under curing as well as over curing the powder. Make sure again to follow those powder coaters, the powder manufacturer specs. Measure the actual temperature of the part. Don't just go off what the oven is reading, and allow for that proper soak up time. When you're storing powders, you need to be aware of moisture. Make sure that the powder has not absorbed any, that it's nice and loose and free. Make sure your hoses are not dirty or wet. This can cause pinholes or fisheyes in your finish. So make sure to store your powder in a dry sealed container and keep your equipment clean. Finally, watch your film thickness. This is all about the application technique. If you're too thin, you're going to have poor protection on that part. And if you're too thick, you can actually run the paint, have an uneven cure, or possible cracking. It will also give you poor edge wrap and poor wraparound while you're applying it. Make sure you adjust your gun settings and distance accordingly. I personally suggest you don't go off the settings on the gun, but only use those as a starting point. Once you have that starting point, pull the trigger, test your cloud, and make sure it looks exactly like you want it before you start to spray. Wasting a little bit of powder up front will save you down the road when you're coating the parts. Again, make sure that your distance in the gun is correct, especially on complex shapes. We want to make sure we're focusing on those corners and those Faraday areas before we hit the easy parts. If you do all of these things, clean the surface, have a good ground, correct cure, good dry powder stored correctly, and apply a proper film thickness, most of the havoc will disappear. Even though the defects are never totally gone. Putting these checkpoints into your process will cut your rejections way down. They're going to save you time, they're going to save you money, and they're going to keep your customers happy and coming back for more. I hope you guys all got something out of this video. I wanted to post something real quick. We're going to do quick little videos like this. Again, CTSA is who I am with. If you're looking for an electron gun, ctsainc.com to purchase a gun, parts, or for more information. We'll see you guys on the next one.